Arsenal. Should we laugh at them more? This was a team that was just like every fan from them. I don't care if it's the delusional ones or the ones that weren't delusional. We're saying quadruple. Look at our running.
Dude, me and Facundo had a conversation like maybe I think it was before the cup final, but he was talking about, oh, in your head, what do we need to do to be the biggest club in London? I was like, let's entertain that. Win the treble. He's like, well, we're on for the quad. He didn't say they were going to win it, but he literally
said, use the word quad? Because the second people start using that word,
I can't recall all of the details,
especially with that squad.
But no, he knew. Again, he said over time they'll definitely lose at least one, like that. He knows how the game goes, but he almost took that like what I said as like, oh yeah, win the treble. Okay, cool, yeah. So it is very nice to see it very quickly get cut in half. Again, they're still favorites in the Premier League, right? Champions League, they've got a favorable draw, so they could still have a very successful season. But I'll take this regardless. I don't care. Zero shame on my end.
Dude, they have zero reason not to be in this final as well. Their run-in to this point was not very good.
Mila, oh shit, I did it wrong. No, I did it wrong again. Fair enough, Dylan.
It's a little more confusing.
You called it, Mila. You called it, Mila. You literally said, watch out for Southampton. And fairs. Because I wasn't able to catch that game, but from what you told me, the better team deserved to win, even though a certain manager believes otherwise.
See, that's what I want to laugh at, honestly, because this is the problem with that club, is that there's no accountability. And it's never their fault. So where the hell do these guys get the motivation to work harder, to be better? Instead, they're holding fucking pens together with their heads, or whatever the fuck they were doing this morning. Like, this is why it's laughable to me. It's because they act like the fucking big dog, and then they do this shit, and they don't lose gracefully. And when they do, it's like supposed to be this gimmick. Like when they lost in the Carabao Cup Final, it's supposed to be some gracious thing where you're watching them go get their trophy, but you know that's for fucking media attention. And what did it do?
Performative.
Did it boost their mental? No, it clearly didn't. Because then they go and drop a game against Southampton, who they should be beating. It's never easy to go and beat a championship team in the FA Cup, but with all this best team in the world talk, like, come on.
A squad.
All this depth talk, a squad in the world, exactly. So, like, what are we talking about when Southampton, who are not even in a playoff spot currently, they're on a good run of games, but they're not in a playoff spot to make it up to the Premier League. They come and outplay you. That, to me, like, that's not best in the league. That's not best in the world. So this is where I get very frustrated with their fans talking about this stuff. It's like, I have no problem you saying that stuff if you can back it. And to me, they can't back it. All they have is that they're at the top of the Premier League, and I'm saying for now, because I don't think it'll last. And I've been saying this, and I'm starting to see other City content creators start to say it, so that the tides are changing, and they should be scared.
I think they should be scared too. And look, I thought they had their moment. I thought the Dowman moment was the moment, and now I have to like backtrack on that because in reality,
that shit was bullshit.
He was the best player.
This is what makes it so laughable. Is you had your moment.
It was not a moment.
No, but it was like
it
the headline. No. You're saying it's not it wasn't a moment because you're a City fan. What I'm saying is what that should have been was a moment. It turns out it was not. That should have been the moment that they ran. They just walked away with it.
They had moments before, though, to be fair. Like 22-23, like remember the Reece Nelson goal against Bournemouth right at the last minute? Like they've had moments, but I think we talked about it in our last show.
So much better in that sense.
We talked about it our last show where it was how would they respond? That's how we'll know how much the cup final loss would affect them. You have an international break. You have to sit on that for 2 weeks. Go beat the shit out of Southampton. And then you've got some big Premier League games coming up. And losing to Southampton is not a good sign. They took a lot of players out of internationals to come back, and I'm sure some of them are carrying injuries. I don't doubt that. I think some of the guys carrying injuries are still playing, but you can't do all of that knowing that you're saving them for domestic competitions just to crash out like that. I don't think Sporting should be a problem as a tie, but again, I think just from that performance alone, regardless if they get the result in the first leg, it might tell us something about how they go into the rest of their run in the Premier League. But they're not showing many positive signs right now either. I think that sustainable talk that we saw a lot last year is starting to float up to the top again, and they do look out of ideas at times. So we're going to see if they do something, because Dowman looks like their best player when he plays, and the kid is 16 years old. That's not a good thing in terms of the amount of recruitment and, again, squad depth, all that stuff for him to be far and away your most, whether it's your most effective player or just the guy bringing something. When we talk about X Factor all the time,
His mind hasn't been tainted by
you spent
Arteta.
you spent
That's
50
really
million
what it
on a
is.
winger and that position, and Dowman looks better. It's not good enough. It can't be good enough. And I mean, the injury issues, we'll see, because they're not responding well, and if it keeps piling on, there could be a breaking point.
It's like, come on, dude. Like
it's
just
how many center backs do you have to buy? Like buy someone that doesn't have injury problems, or do something better with your training regimen that prevents these injuries. Because the way they play footy does not warrant.
And he doesn't
so it's
rotate
something they're doing off the pitch, or it's these guys are inherently injury prone, which should be in their scouting report.
Even this year, I believe Ben White, I think he rushed him back or something like that, and he got hurt again. But he runs people into the ground. You can't blame the squad depth.
It looks like.
Oh, he looked like
some of it's
shit,
in
dude.
unfortunate situations, but he's
goal.
been shitting the bed.
Yeah. And Timber's not available for the Champions League tie, so
it's. I think the word that we've used in the past with them is just arrogance. That's just what they are. Like that Arteta quote is the epitome of arrogance.
Unreal. He's
with no
so
credibility
deluded.
too. Like
he's so
deluded. How can you go into a game where they genuinely play? If we're gonna say that they did outplay them, right? Arsenal outplayed Southampton. It wasn't that much outplayed to the point where a Premier League side in first place with a bunch of guys that didn't go to their international camp, which is arrogant in its own right, lost. They lost to a team, and even if you did get outplayed, that should never be in the conversation.
Southampton didn't take 2 shots and score 2 goals.
Look, I think the thing that kind of rings in my mind is City went through a bunch of these runs where they and it's always the running joke. It's like, oh, well, City get the easy run in. Well, City always beat the easy run in. They never stumbled at the easy run in. They always took care of business and they went and won things. But all good teams do that. All good teams beat the bad teams. Even if we want to look at Chelsea, who have been up and down all season, they've taken care of the bad teams in this competition. They did it in the Carabao Cup too. But Arsenal, the first sign of misfortune, they immediately turned it into a giant thing that just chopped out 2 trophies from their leg. And to all their fans that are acting like these trophies don't matter and the only one that matters is the Premier League, there is a domino effect to these things. You lose the first one and it dominoes.
You cannot pick and choose. You cannot pick and choose.
No.
And I think you said it, Dylan, a lot when we would talk about basketball, but championship windows in that instance, they don't just stay open. Like, oh yeah, well, we still have this on ice. And, I think bigger fish to fry a few years ago was a good one, but yeah, you can't pick and choose. You know what I mean? Like you were just saying, it comes down to the mentality of the team, and you beat what's in front of you one game at a time. People say that all the time, but it's definitely easier said than done to be able to look at one game at a time and know we need to do everything we can in this 90 minutes and then move on to the next one. So that's looking like the difference, and you're seeing that. I'd love for it to keep playing out.
It's one of those things where even if they do go on to win the Premier League, they're just going to be one of the champions of all time. Right? And instead of them, like, those are the moments where you can become like,
hey, you take it though. If I were a fan, I wouldn't care. But
no, of course not. But like, you just kind of, in the history of things, you kind of just, especially if it's a one and done situation,
25-26 Arsenal, yeah, no one.
You're just gonna forget about it. It's not historic in the same way as some of the treble winning sides have, or even double winning sides of the modern time. Like, it just doesn't hit the same. And we'll see where they go. But it's funny to laugh at them because their fans make it enjoyable to laugh at them.
Yeah, I really hope my boy Quenda has something for Benny Blanco this week. That might be a long day.
The
I hope
the
so.
overall media consensus from this team's probably gonna go on to win it to within the span of 2 games, like, oh shit, they might be in trouble. Should ring
They got
alarm
some good
bells for
PR.
everyone.
Yeah,
It should.
agreed.
Just like we laughed at Liverpool. We're laughing at Arsenal because they are losers in their heart of hearts.